Humphrey back in the States? Yeah. Still over there. What's he doing? Sweeping up?
All just the confetti. They make him sweep it all up. No, he's staying for the parade that Rob's flying back for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then he also, his passport is expired.
Oh, shit.
And when he told me when he was leaving, just so you know, my passport's going to expire while I'm over there, but it's okay because I'll just get an appointment and get a new one. Then landed in the UK, went to go make an appointment, found out that the passport office was striking for 8 weeks. So there's no appointments. He can't get a new, so he's there without a passport. And when the passport office reopens, he'll then get a passport and then he can come back. But until then, he's just over there.
And he's too big to smuggle back.
Yeah, you'd never fit him in a suitcase.
Yeah. Hey, man.
No McElhenney today?
I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't.
Oh, we don't know. It's a mystery.
It's going to be a mystery whether he comes in or not.
One thing we could do is we could
I love a good mystery. As I recall from our last podcast, I don't think he is going to be here today.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think he's going to be absent. So no one knows.
It's unknowable what his schedule and.
I'm going to text him. How about that?
This will be good. This is drama for the beginning of the podcast. Good. How was your weekend, Glenn? That good, huh?
I don't remember what happened.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was pretty unmemorable, clearly. I think it was fine.
Did you get another dog?
Didn't get another dog, no.
Dude, thank God.
I went and saw Evil Dead Rise on Saturday night. That was a lot of fun.
Was it good?
A lot of fun, yeah.
Did you watch the
My voice
Evil
is
Dead?
very deep today.
Yeah.
You know what I watched? I watched Pearl. Did you see Pearl?
No, I saw the first movie, X or whatever. I saw that one, but I haven't seen Pearl, which is the
ton of fun
sequel.
Is it? Okay. It felt like it was part of a bigger overall thing, which I think it is.
Gosh, have you guys seen the movie Barbarian?
I gotta see it. Don't tell me anything about it.
Oh,
boy. It's on my watch list.
Yeah, buddy.
What kind of movie is that?
It's a horror film.
Oh, I don't watch scary movies.
You don't watch scary movies? Ever?
Not really, no.
Really?
Yeah, I like reading.
How do you feel things then if you're not?
Well, I feel scared all the time, so I don't see the need to mimic it.
Yeah, you're in fight or flight all the time.
I'm just always there. Same reason I don't do roller coasters, because I'm like, why do you want to feel like you're about to die at any moment? I have that feeling constantly, that dread. But no, I don't know. I just get easily scared. My brain, since I was a kid, like whatever scary movie, I would just replay it in dreams and stuff. My brain locks in on stuff, so I'm just like, let's not put.
What about like The Shining?
I've seen The Shining.
Yeah,
I will watch
watch something
artsy horror movies if that makes sense, things that are elevated.
Same. Like I don't want if it's just
just
pure, just kind of lazy, jump scares and
I did watch Get Out, which was amazing. So I will if I hear that it's more about the movie than the horror aspect, but I just couldn't.
I would put The Exorcist in that category.
Sure.
I haven't seen The Exorcist.
It's a phenomenal film.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look, it's scary as shit, and it could fuck you up. Barbarian, I mean,
I gotta see it.
I'd put that up there with some of the better horror films I've ever seen.
Oh.
Evil Dead Rise, very much in line with the Evil Dead movies, which I'm a huge fan of.
Is it still starring what's his name? Bruce?
No.
What was that guy's name?
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Yeah. Thank you.
Bruce Campbell, who played Ash in the original Evil Dead trilogy.
Well, Glenn, it's 9:00.
I think that we're not going to be seeing Rob McElhenney today. I think I don't know, he's too good for us now, or too good for us today.
Well, yeah. Too good to even let us know whether or not he's going to be here
I think that he did let us know. As I recall, I remember thinking, the next one we're doing without him. So I think he did tell us.
Possibly. I certainly probably wasn't listening.
But I'm weirdly but usually you would know this.
I think, but no one knows.
I think he did say, yeah.
I believe he did. I believe he did. So this is going to...
That's a shame because he's pretty funny in this episode of television, but we don't have to dive right into the episode. We could...
No, let's talk about horror films.
We talk about horror films. We could talk about the absence of our friend.
Can I ask, actually, are there any other horror films that you would put in the category of artsy, as you put it? Like sort of like really great filmmaking, and therefore I would watch it even though it's a horror film? What other films would you put in that
I can't think of any
category?
off the top of my head, though, right now.
Did you watch The Ring?
No, I didn't see The Ring.
The Ring's great.
The Ring was great.
Yeah, but
like
that
Jaws?
movie
I
fucked
saw
me up.
Jaws? Is that a horror?
Jaws?
Yeah,
Considered
that's a horror. I would think that would be considered a horror film. Yeah,
A horror film?
back in the day, I think it was considered a horror film. Yeah, yeah. I mean, now it's so tame.
Fish film.
It's in the fish category.
More of a fish movie.
Right.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, settle that. Do you guys want to talk about this episode today, World Series defense?
Yeah, sure. We can.
Yeah.
We can jump into talking about the
Let's
episode.
jump into it. All right, World Series defense. Megan, do you want to recap this episode for our
I
listeners
will.
at home and our viewers, or creepolas, I guess?
structure thing.
Bolas. Yeah, the structure. I appreciated you trying to uphold it when I wasn't here.
I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so season 5, episode 6, The World Series Defense, aired on October 22nd, 2009. It was written by David Hornsby and directed by Randall Einhorn. Special guest stars Patricia Belcher, played the judge, John Ponzio, Dennis Hogan, and Dennis Hart.
Yeah.
And in this one, the gang describes the trials and tribulations they went through during Game 5 of the World Series, hoping that the judge will clear them of all the citations they received.
Okay. First of all, I want to take a moment to talk about John Ponzio's performance. So he is in the Philly Frenetic costume, and we couldn't say Fanatic. That was like Major League Baseball was like, nope, sorry, you can't say Fanatic.
So we called him the Philly Frenetic.
Yeah, and we also couldn't say the Holiday Inn. So we called
But then you couldn't help yourself at the end of the episode.
And you know what? I'm going to toss in my countersuit. Charlie Kelly versus Major League Baseball in the Philly Frenetic.
Don't do it,
I'm
Charlie.
mad
Don't
at
do
this
it.
guy. He's got a
He's
stranglehold
gonna- oh, boy.
on the mascot
What's happening?
seat. All right, first of all, I had to call him the Frenetic. His name's the Fanatic, but, you know, I'm going to get sued by Major League Baseball if I call him the Fanatic. And let's talk about steroids. Can we talk about steroids? Can we talk about steroid abuse? It's bullshit. It's ruining the game. It's ruining it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd
You
you
had
sneak
to
that
fucking
in?
call it out,
So
which I love so
yeah,
much.
at the end of the episode, I call it out. I'm like, this is
We
fucking
couldn't even
bullshit.
call him this.
And somehow we got that in, and that was fine.
Now we got away with that.
And something I think that we started doing later in life was just like, we're just going to do it.
We're just gonna do
and
it.
it's just going to be fine.
See what happens.
So Ponzio kills it.
Well,
as
why don't
that-
you tell people who Ponzio
So,
is?
okay, John Ponzio has had the position of, he's an actor, but he's also had the position of stand-in, which is often when they're lighting a scene, a performer stands on the actor's mark and they kind of, they go through the scenes. They sort of perform the scenes while the cinematographer is lighting the scene and the...
Well, now this might be interesting to people because I think many people maybe don't know the process of the usual process is the very first thing that happens is the actors get called to set with the director and they do what's called a closed rehearsal with just the actors and the director and maybe a few key people that are making decisions about how the scene's going to go. And the stand-ins are also watching the rehearsal so that they can see what we did in the rehearsal. So then when rehearsal's over, we leave to go get finished in hair and makeup, learn our lines, make phone calls, masturbate, whatever it is that we need to do to get ready for the actual
Oftentimes
film.
it's put on a costume. It might be putting on fake bruises or
If
blood.
you're me, I'm taking supplements.
If it's Glenn, you're in a major supplement routine.
I'm in the midst. I'm in phase 3 of my supplement routine. At whatever,
just
and it-
choking down pills for an hour while they light the scene.
trying to make myself feel better. And while all that's happening, the stand-ins are walking through the marks with the camera people and the lighting people so that they can light the scene. It's so that when we show up to set, we don't throw a fit.
Yeah.
And go, why wasn't this worked out with my stand-in? And various things like that. I was in the middle of masturbating and you or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, oftentimes, we get to set before that was all done and watch the run through once or twice with the stand-ins, especially earlier on in the show.
Right.
Just to make sure everything was kind of looking how we wanted it to look. And we picked up on that. John Ponzio was always excellent.
He's bringing
the
it.
scenes.
Always bringing it.
Sometimes, most of the time, the stand-ins are actors as well. Sometimes they have.
Sometimes they're not.
No, they have no aspirations of becoming performers, and this is something they do on the side.
Yeah.
My stand-in, Adam, is actually a brilliant musician.
He
so
is.
His
Great singer.
focus is music. But so Ponzio, who stood in for Rob, although he's done a lot of he's been my stand-in. He was my stand-in on AP Bio. Yeah,
too.
he pinch hits. He was always great in the run-throughs. So every now and then we would have him play a role if we needed a guy who said a thing or we needed a character in a costume.
Do you remember his first role?
Was his first one in Mac and Dennis Break Up where he's the waiter?
No.
Before he had something before that? What was his first one?
We had all the stand-ins in season 3. The gang gets whacked. I can't remember if it's part 1 or part 2, but it's when you guys are on the streets gumming the cocaine and you run into Cricket.
Oh, yes.
And those three people, business people, walk by and give him some loose change. That was all the stand-ins. that
Yeah,
year.
I think Ponzio was in that crew.
Look, they let you become a priest again, huh?
Congratulations.
The Reverend. Hey, man.
Rev, how you doing, man?
Hey, keep your head up, Reverend.
Hey, keep the faith.
Bless you.
And John Ponzio's been with us since almost the beginning, if not the very beginning.
Yeah, I can't remember.
We'd have
exactly,
to double check that,
but
but
pretty darn near it, if not.
a lot of the other stand-ins have sort of come and gone.
And his sister has done AD work.
Yeah, and his
Carla
sister who also works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so John volunteered to be the frenetic. And I was watching it. I was like, man, he really nailed it because we had some mascot work this season coming up, and it's tough. It's tough to get a performance that reads through that suit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching that assuming like that's the guy who does the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He has the whole bit, the little like yawning thing he does where he's patting his nose or whatever.
He does a great job.
He nailed it.
Yeah, even his timing when you ask him like, are you messing with me? Are you taking me seriously or whatever? And there's like this little pause, and then he does the
Tongue thing? Yeah, it's
like does the tongue
perfectly
thing.
timed.
And by the way, the rhythm of your punching,
Yes.
like that's also great because like the second he does it, you smack him in the face and then you punch him in the chest twice. There's something about the rhythm of that
Yeah,
moment.
the timing of it is very funny.
It really works well.
And then you cut to Hogan and Hart, who are Rob's.
It sounds like a comedy duo.
Yeah, they do sound like a comedy duo. So Rob's two friends that were in the episode with Carmen,
Charlie
where
has cancer.
Charlie has cancer, where Rob punches Carmen, and they say, "Is that a hate crime?" And then they say, "Yeah, that's a hate crime." They pound him. This was a callback to those two. They were construction workers at the time. They look like construction workers.
Yeah.
Rob, why don't you tell us about Hogan and Hart a little bit?
Yeah, Rob, where'd you meet those guys? Tell us a little bit about your history with those guys.
That's a delight. Yeah, I think that's a great story. That's so great, Rob. All right, I'll give you.
Killing it.
All right, don't big league me now here, man. Don't big league. Look, I'm trying to have a conversation with the man behind the mask, and I feel like you're big leaguing me, dude. Are you taking me seriously?
Yeah, there it is. Pat, poop, poop.
That guy's beating on the frenetic. Dude, is that a hate crime? Nah, it's not a hate crime. Want to hammer his ass anyway? Definitely.
That great Philly accent. You can't, that's
Not
authenticity.
bad acting.
Yeah. You want to hammer his ass anyway?
hammer his ass anyway?
I can't do it. Those guys are so funny, man.
They're great.
I love that. I love that.
They're hilarious, and they nailed it in that performance.
It was up to that point for me, honestly, sadly, it was my biggest laugh was their exchange. Like, should we pound him anyway? They said,
My biggest
"Should we
laugh is
hammer
when
him
Danny
anyway?"
first lifts up the tent and the amount of smoke that comes out from under it. I had forgotten about, and it caught me off guard.
Oh, he was so big. Mine was so quick, which was just you Charlie handing Dennis papers he doesn't need.
Oh, yeah.
I laughed every time you did that.
I clearly laugh towards the very end.
Yeah, the second round of that.
Yeah, right at the very end,
you
I
fully-
hand one
Stop
to you,
handing
and your reaction gets me, and I have to look down because I'm laughing.
I love it because we play it so. I'm trying to play it so
Yeah.
real. Well, the reason I was,
It's a good bit.
but it's also one of those things where like, it wasn't hard for me to play it real because you didn't tell me you were going to do that.
Oh,
You just started doing it.
Yeah.
So it was actually mildly irritating to me. Like I knew it was funny, but I'm trying to remember my lines. I'm trying to do my lines, and you're handing me papers. And so it was actually like,
Yeah.
So I just kind of leaned into the like whatever little bit of it was actually kind of
Yeah.
irritating to me.
which I probably picked up on and then did it
you just
more.
kept doing it.
Yeah.
You parsed
and then
it
you
out
would
though.
switch a paper with a different paper. And then
Yeah, right,
you'd be
right.
like,
Perhaps you
"Oh,
want
well, it's
this
the
one."
wrong
Perhaps you want
Perhaps
this
it's
one.
these notes you need. And Patricia, who plays the judge,
Yeah. Oh man.
is exceptional.
Oh, so funny.
And I had the pleasure of working with her a couple times again on AP Bio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she plays the school superintendent on the show. So she would come in for a couple episodes here and there,
Awesome.
and she was just, and she remembered working on Sunny with us, even though by the time I'd worked with her on AP Bio, it had been almost a solid 10 years since she had done that, but she remembered it and she had a really good time. And yeah, she's lovely and a great performer.
Your Honor, let the record show that the three of us do not condone the actions of the two of them.
The record will show everything. You can stop saying that.
Are you sure? Because she's not typing very quickly.
Shorthand. She's getting the gist.
I don't appreciate being paraphrased. Now, I choose my words very deliberately.
Get back to your case.
This also is the first time I think we're discussing a Randall Einhorn directed episode. Is that correct?
It can't be.
I thought he did one already, but
He has done,
I don't think it was the
oh,
first.
no, wait a minute. Did he not start working with us until season 5?
Yeah, season 5 was his first year.
Okay, so I don't think we've talked that much about Randall.
So Randall brought scale to the show in a way that we hadn't done. He was not cutting the corners that we were used to cutting in terms of like, okay, in this particular episode, normally we'd be like, well, we can't show the stadium because obviously we're not going to. And here's what I was trying to remember watching that. So the first time you see the shot, the stadium is empty. So obviously we're saying this is before people have entered the stadium. Later in the episode, the stadium's full.
Yeah.
Did we shoot that during a game with a full stadium, or did we do a CGI, put people in? I cannot remember.
Let me tell you something. I don't know. I don't remember either.
God damn it. I
Rob,
wish
do you remember?
Okay, Rob will remember, because this is the kind of stuff Rob remembers.
Yeah, Rob usually remembers these things.
No shit. Okay. So
his first episode was The Gang Exploits the Mortgage Crisis, but it was this year that Randall Einhorn
Which we
came in
have
for the
discussed,
first time,
or we have
which
not?
we have discussed.
We have discussed that one.
But,
Right.
But yeah, bringing, the scale of it.
He did it in such a way that it didn't force us to work longer days necessarily. I
no,
don't remember
not at all. He worked just as fast.
Yeah.
But like certain things.
He was very ambitious. He was very ambitious.
Yeah.
And he was a little pushier with us in the way that Adius was in the second season. He pushed us a little bit. And we fought him on it. And I'm glad he pushed us.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I think you got to be a little pushy with us. Otherwise, we're going to hammer you.
Otherwise, we're going to
terms
hammer
of-
you like the Phillies fan.
Yeah.
Choices, like making you do.
Maybe in terms of his vision,
Okay.
which sometimes we were like, I don't see it that way. And probably because he was seeing more scale than we were used to doing on the show, right? So
And I think normally our response would be like, you don't really need to see the stadium. You don't really, it's fine. Like we're there. We don't need to do a whole thing, but he would insist on those things. And I think for the betterment of the episodes.
Well, yeah, because it started to open up possibilities for us, right? Where from a writing standpoint, where you're getting to the point where you're writing yourself into corners because you say, well, we just can't do X, Y, Z. It opens up certain storylines where you're like, well, maybe we actually could pull this thing off. And filling a stadium full of people is really tricky to do.
Yeah.
I think that's CGI people in the shot, in the second
I don't know that
shot.
we were doing CGI back then, dude.
But I think it would have been so chaotic to film during a game.
Pretty
and
far away.
The speed at which we move, we wouldn't shoot that sequence with an empty stadium and then come back at the end of the day when the stadium was full to shoot the next scene, right? We would be like, this is our location. We got to get in and out.
Meg, maybe you want to call, get Randall on the Einhorn and on his old Einhorn.
I was going to text Jeff Luini, actually. Do you think he would know if you did post on that episode?
Yeah, Jeff might know.
Now, Einhorn, if I'm not mistaken, is also what Germans call a unicorn. There's a little movie. Yeah. Hang on. So you got multiple things to look up here.
Is one and horn is horn.
Well, so Germans call unicorns Einhorn, and I know this because there was a great animated film from the 80s called The Last Unicorn. Do you know this movie?
Yes, I remember that.
It's weirdly kind of scary. It really scared me as a kid, but it's a great little fantasy movie. Jeff Bridges plays the prince in that movie, and he sings. And it's so interesting to hear him singing. And I believe the band America did a lot of the music for it, which is seems incongruous. But just real quick, the German title of that film, and the only reason I know this is because my sister and I were obsessed with that movie as kids, and I wanted to get her the soundtrack to that movie. But you couldn't get it in America, but you could get it in Germany. And the movie was called Das letzte Einhorn, The Last Unicorn.
Wow.
Something like that.
I feel like LSD culture was still heavily like slipping into kids' art in our childhood, because like
Fraggle Rocks and stuff.
Yeah, or
trippy
remember that
shit.
first The Hobbit cartoon?
Oh, trippy.
It was like
Rankin
trippy.
Bass.
Even like certain I don't know if it was Electric Company or Sesame Street stuff. Like, remember the little girl who's like trying to remember? She's like, a loaf of bread, a stick of butter, a quart of milk.
Yep.
Like I watched. Somehow I saw that recently, and I was like, "This."
It's trippy.
It's like an acid trip. Like the mother's like showing up in her brain, like a loaf of bread.
Yeah, and then she can't remember the third item.
And then she can't remember it.
Yeah, there was a lot of that trippy ass shit. I love those old Rankin Bass. I mean, those are the guys that did like all the the claymation stuff, like Rudolph and Frosty the Snowman. That's all Rankin Bass.
Yeah,
and they did that first Hobbit movie, which is terrific.
You can tell
I think
it's fantastic. You can tell like the difference of like the drugs, like so like everyone's like smoking weed, and then cocaine starts and we get like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean? Cocaine comes in the system and there's like all right, man, so you know how like the turtles in the sewer, dude, and like their boss is like a rat, and they love pizza.
Guys, it's NBA Finals time. As soon as football ends, you've got March Madness. You got a horse race or two. A couple of golf tournaments. Basically a month of people, in the South wearing pastels, and then boom, NBA playoffs and the NBA Finals, and after that, baseball comes back or whatever.
Well, I love this time of year because it's an opportunity to scrounge up some under the table fun money.
What are you doing? You scalping tickets outside of arenas still? Are you still doing that? Buddy, I've told you, the juice is not worth the squeeze.
No, I'm off that. No. This is just some like side action I got going on. You know what I mean? I made a decent penny in boiled denims. I drop all that into DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. They're tied in together, man.
It's fun.
Charlie, that's so official. Great that you give back like that.
Some days I do. Yeah, and some days I make a even decenter penny back, A new customer can place a $5 bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can take a shot at an even bigger payout with DraftKings stepped up same-game parlays. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code ALWAYS. And boom, you're in business, man.
Oh, man, that kind of makes me want to put a bet on a game and then go to it. So, Charlie, do you have any of those scalp tickets anymore? Are you really out of that game?
Talk to me when we're done recording, and I'll hook you up. You guys know what's the worst? It's washing your dishes after you cook.
Oh, God.
You're done and you got to wash everything.
It's the worst, man. I hate it. I leave the dishes there out for so long, and then I get angry at the dishes. And then I get angry at myself.
Actually, just takes like 10 seconds, guys. You just wash them off. You put them in the dishwasher.
Wait,
what?
What are you talking about? What about all the pots and pans and the cooking supplies?
Yeah,
What
about
are
all
you
the
talking about?
things that.
Yeah, I don't use cooking supplies because I use Factor, which is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. I pop in one of their fresh, never frozen entrees into the microwave, and I have a delicious, well-proportioned meal ready in 2 minutes. So there's no cleanup afterwards. I'm just done. I just fridge,
Wait, what?
microwave, recycling. That's
Wait,
it.
so you're not using like an on-air fryer or anything like that? You're not using a deep fryer? You're not deep frying a turkey? You're not going to the grocery store? You're not doing any of this?
You're not chopping?
Yeah, I only have so much free time, so I figure why should I waste any of it? You know, like shopping, chopping, prepping, cleaning. That's why I personally love Factor, especially in the summer, because, in the summer my schedule gets real busy.
This is great. Okay, so you guys have convinced me I'm never cooking again. And Glenn, let's join Factor and let's leave this kitchen and dish stress behind us.
If you head to factormeals.com/sunny40 and use the code sunny40 to get 40% off your first box.
Yep, that's code Sunny40 at factormeals.com/Sunny40 to get 40% off your first box.
Riot Punch in this episode.
Yeah.
There's another thing you guys didn't sell and make money off of.
I was thinking the exact same thing when I was watching the episode. I'm like, there's another thing we could have capitalized on.
Riot Punch.
Riot Punch. We had wine in a can. Imagine if we had done wine in a can, right?
Mhm.
And that had done fairly well. And then we followed it up with Riot Punch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
cover all your
your
areas.
bases, man.
Just for all the different customers.
Yeah.
And then done a Sunny Lager, and we
Uh-huh.
could be so rich right now
Yeah,
instead
right.
of just kind of rich.
Yeah, Riot Punch was like a Everclear and Gatorade. Is that what the?
Pretty much, yeah. Like Everclear with
alcohol.
electrolytes.
Yeah.
Right?
Like antifreeze in the thing you guys
Really
are holding.
good. Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
like antifreeze.
Yeah.
So this episode, was this like, it seems so much of it is about or comes out of the fact that you couldn't be wearing like Phillies merch.
Yeah.
You couldn't be talking about the Fanatic.
Uh-huh.
Was that like, did you guys decide, we want to do something about the fact that they won the World Series,
Yeah.
but we really can't. So then the episode becomes kind of about that as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what happens. You know what? I actually forgot that we can't wear the merch watching the episode. So I didn't really.
They did a pretty good. They did a good job.
Caitlin's outfit is so close. I feel like it smoothed it over for me.
Even the Frenetics shirt is like a made-up looking thing, and we got to give Sabrina Rosen a lot of credit for that, our costume designer on the show.
Also, like
Came
the
close.
red eyeball thing after they go in the bug bomb thing. So this was something that we were like Leah, our makeup artist,
Leah Votro.
but those like red eyes are so effective. But like, we were putting like red eye drops in. Or
Yeah, it's
something
not
crazy.
comfortable. It's like it's this kind of stuff that, it's like they say it's like safe to go in your eyes, but it's like, it doesn't feel safe.
We did it again in the episode with Country Mac where
Oh,
we got
Mac.
stoned, and it looks really
Mac
good in
did.
that
I
episode.
love it's. You guys look so funny in that when you're smoking weed and you're eating out of those chips bags and your eyes are
Yeah.
just completely
Carbs wise.
Wait, so
Carbs-wise, it's gonna
going
set me
back
back.
to like scale though, like even tenting the whole building, which Einhorn, was like, no, we'll get a building and we'll tent it. Versus like before, we probably would have like cut a corner and been like, well, we can't actually see the building tented, or we might have.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's possible.
Yeah,
It was funny, you guys lifting up that thing and like going, it sold it just enough.
Yeah.
Like you getting underneath the sheet.
I sort of feel like
Yeah.
when Danny crawls in though, the smoke looked to me like
That
it
was
was
CGI.
CGI, right?
That was CG. Yeah.
So we had some in this episode, which makes me think that the crowd was also CGI. But
Right. Well, I mean, those are two. Yeah, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that difficult to CGI
No,
a
it'd be
crowd
easier.
way, way, way in the
Yeah.
distance than, to do some smoke. But you're right. The second time when he actually goes in, that smoke is not real. That was like CGI smoke.
which it was like because
I
of
don't know
some
why.
like thing where you're like he can't crawl into the smoke machine or like some
Maybe.
union rule or something.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. But then we had real smoke when they actually go into the hallway.
Yeah.
The
in
scene of them
hallway.
in the hallway.
So funny.
So
Him just
okay,
laying-
here's another
laying
example of a shot that I think we would often nix. We'd be like, you don't need that shot. But I love it. It's a great shot. So there's the obvious great shot of all the close-ups which swing between Caitlin, Danny, and Rob doing the retching, which I think we cut together multiple takes of it because it was so funny and we just wanted to keep it going as long as
I
possible.
remember pushing for that shot.
Yes,
where I was
that is
like,
a very Charlie.
I was like, I want to get up in their faces and I want to swing around. I remember Rob, I feel like you didn't want to do it because you were like, it's a lot to retch like that. Was that?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
yeah. You were feeling lazy.
It was yeah.
Yeah, I
It
get
was
it.
him or it was Randall. Someone was like, I don't know how to do it. I was like, I think it's gonna be. But I know the
I
shot
remember
you're
that.
talking about.
The shot I'm talking about is the very last shot before we cut to commercial, which is the
Wide.
floor shot. It's not wide, but yeah, it's the kind of wider shot where the camera's basically on the floor.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that somebody would normally propose to us, and we'd be like, you
don't need it.
I don't need it. It's
great.
good.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Wanna
good.
watch it?
I mean, let's watch it. Why is that so funny? Caitlin. So this is the shot I'm talking about right here.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
It's a great shot, and I feel like that's the kind of thing that we would often just be like, you don't need it. And I'm so glad we got it. But like, I'm so glad. It's so nice to work with actors who are willing to make themselves that wretched and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And just be.
It's essential for a comedy because you're trying to dig the life out of it. And if you're like not willing to make yourself go to the extremes, which life does, it just feels, I don't know.
Yeah. You can't always be pretty. So as we're learning lessons on this podcast, as we often are teaching lessons, you can't always be pretty. Sometimes you just got to be ugly.
Sometimes you just got to get on the floor and retch.
Sometimes you just got to be.
And the more you retch, the better the scene.
Bullshit. I got hammered so hard.
Yeah, well, you deserve it, asshole.
Charlie, who hammered you?
Just some overly passionate Phillies fans. Who do you think?
And hold on, you getting hammered by Philly fans is reminding me of something. There is a secret tunnel between the stadium and the Holiday Inn.
I know, dude. I was telling this guy about the tunnel.
It does make things so much funnier when you have to like get around it, like Holiday Inn. Like the fact that you're all saying Holiday Inn, that the judge even says it at the end.
Are you telling me you all found a dungeon at the bottom of the Holiday Inn?
The Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could that's another one. Right.
Yeah.
We called it the Holiday Inn because you couldn't call it the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But that
funny.
was
It's funny.
Holiday Inn. Yeah, no,
that was just kind of funny.
yeah. I also love
Holiday Inn.
when we do finally go to the Holiday Inn and we're trying to find the tunnel that leads from the Holiday Inn to the stadium. When we get into that laundry room, you're like, and Scooby-Doo, there's always some kind of a thing or whatever. Like, can we not? I love the line of like, can we not base our decisions on things that either did or didn't happen in episodes of Scooby-Doo?
That is great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I also like the whole discussion of the Charlie 1-2. Charlie describing the Charlie 1-2, which is just jumping out in front of a car.
Yeah.
But you
One, you
saying
jump in front of the car. Two, you threaten to zoom.
yeah. And then Dennis being like, well, it's called the Charlie 1-2, so you should do it. And you saying that the next one might be your last.
Yeah. I've done it too many
that
times.
Stunt worked pretty well. Like,
Yeah, it
where,
worked pretty well.
yeah, it looks like you get drilled by that thing.
Yep, just a very simple optical illusion of me. I was behind them. Wasn't even like in line. Basically, the car was here and I was like here, but as it pulls up, it looks like it's hitting me. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And then this also is Rob's introduction to his fascination with Chase Utley.
Yep.
How did you pick Chase Utley? Was it just like at random? Did he already love Chase Utley and wanted to be his friend and manifest that in the universe?
I think no. What is funny, actually, though, that at the time none of us knew.
No, we didn't know Chase
Chase.
Utley at the time.
No, we didn't know him at all. No, he was just a famous baseball player.
Yeah.
Famous second baseman.
I mean, he just was a really great player, and it just seemed funny that Rob was obsessed
And
with
handsome.
him and handsome guy. And
Yeah.
He's an exceptional baseball player.
Yeah.
That letter though, that
Her delivery of that letter is so funny.
yeah.
Her reading it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, read it.
Dear Chase, oh shit, there's stickers.
Yeah.
My God. Oh,
Well, you
this
gotta
is good.
jazz it up, you
Yeah,
know?
you sure do.
I wanna make it
You
pop.
sure do. Dear Chase, I feel like I can call you Chase because you and me are so much alike. Really. I would love to meet you someday. It would be great to have a catch. I know I can't throw as fast as you, but I think you would be impressed with my speed. I love your hair. You run fast. Did you have a good relationship with your father? Me neither. These are all things we can talk about and more. I know you have not been getting my letters because I know you would write back if you did, and I hope you write back this time and we get to be good friends. I am sure our relationship would be a real home run.
I remember working on that letter. I remember writing the me neither part, like just thinking that it was funny that Rob just like answers
for him.
Answers for him.
It's also funny that like Mac has to either he fully believes that the letter is totally normal, because when Dee threatens to read it, he's like, yeah, read it.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
It is a love letter of sorts. I like him saying that.
Yeah.
Rob's looked at Caitlin when there's something line about speed or something, and he gives her like a little nod of
I think you'd be impressed by my speed.
Yeah,
like, I'm not
whatever look he does to her is so funny. I've never seen him do it before or since.
Like, you know it.
Yeah. He throws a couple of those looks in that scene. He's got some great moments in this episode.
Yeah, there's a really funny exchange between the two of them, Dee and Mac, where she calls him out for not being able to scale the building. And he's like, I absolutely could scale this building.
Yeah.
And she's like, really?
I love that he gets in her face.
Yeah.
And he's like, you think I don't have the upper body strength? And then she gets like literally
Right back
smushes
in
her
his.
face into his face. So funny.
Here's a joke though that we missed that I remember wanting, and we didn't get it. So when you cut back to Rob and he's trying to scale the building, Caitlin's standing right next to him. But the funnier joke would have been to have her off frame so you feel as though he's halfway up, and then like pull back and see that he's still on the ground and he's not gotten anywhere.
He hasn't got anywhere, right?
Can't remember.
It still works. One more hilarious exchange I love in this, which is like classic, is then after she tells Mac he doesn't have the arm strength to scale the building, then Dennis tells him that he doesn't have the core strength to do it.
Yeah.
And then you guys have a whole conversation about glamour muscles and how he's all buys and tries. That conversation is so stupid.
I remember that bit. I remember
that
us
is
talking
so
about,
funny.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that in the writer's room, and Martyr and Roselle getting in on that conversation. It was the first time I'd ever heard the phrase glamour muscles. I'd never heard that before. And I think it was either Martyr or Roselle that was.
Yeah, it sounds
such
like
a
those guys.
searing commentary on Mac, but also on Rob. Like, it just seems
exactly.
like kind of pointed just enough of being like,
yeah.
But you guys talking yourselves into a fury that ends in a push-up contest where you're looking at each other, and then match cutting that to you being.
I love the look. I love the looks that we give each other, like right before we drop down to do the push-ups, where there's this moment of like, oh shit, we're doing this. Like, you know,
the seriousness which you describe the flaws of his workout routine is what's so funny to me, right? There's no wink to it. You're like, it's dead serious, important information that you're doing your glamour muscles, and it's frustrating. And
it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Tries and tries.
But I also love that when we drop down into the push-ups, but then it immediately cuts to the courtroom, and we're doing the push-ups in the.
You got into the same argument there, and then it did it again.
It's just good sunny stuff.
With the moment with Mac getting in Dee's face and her pushing her face back into him, I remember not loving that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only because I felt like it was like too comfortable. Like, I felt like it's because they're like a couple in real life. She's comfortable enough.
Oh, you felt that was.
But that's only because I'm a person who would jam his face into someone who I wasn't in a relationship with. But
I think Caitlin, if it had been a scene between Caitlin and I, she would have done the same thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I think she
by the
would've
way, I definitely acknowledged it was funny. I was like, is it too like intimate? You know?
Yeah.
But
she screams right in his face though, and it's funny.
Yeah, it's right.
Are you kidding me?
I laughed when I saw it again.
Yeah.
I absolutely have the upper body strength to accomplish that.
Are you kidding
God
me?
damn it!
It's funny.
But also, there's another example of her. Like, she does not play that comedically at all. Like, you look at her face, she's fucking serious, man.
She screams right at him.
She's like, it seems like she's really fucking pissed at him in that moment.
Luini's saying that he believes that you shot outside the stadium.
No, I do believe we shot outside the stadium. The question, though, is did we
fill in the crowd?
Did we fill in the crowd? I think we shot outside of a real game.
I mean,
I think we shot.
I have
outside
a memory of that. It just
So do I.
seems unlike.
I think we scheduled it. We were in Philly, and I think we scheduled it so that we could shoot that outside of a game.
So we shot the morning part, then we went and shot all the frenetic stuff, and we might have shot it kind of in order. And then plus, you guys got to get your eyes red, and
I didn't.
you have to get the bruising. I have to get all the cuts and the rips in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I
maybe
think we
did.
shot that at the end of the day. kind of near the end of the day. And I think the stadium was actually full.
Look at that.
I do believe.
I don't know. I bet that's real.
Oh, wait. Look to the right. See all the people like walking towards it?
Yeah.
That's
Over there.
more extras than we would have. Like
So you're saying, you're saying those are real people.
Yeah, all the people behind you here are ours.
Extras. Yeah.
But see the people like walking towards the. We would never have that many people in the deep background like that. There's no way.
I think
us.
you're right. Yeah, no, I think I'm fairly certain that was the real deal.
Well, there you go.
How did we get this location then at like during a game, like, or were we just further away from the stadium than?
I think we were maybe. I don't know. Well, how do you get any location? You know what I mean? Do you remember how fucking hot it was and how like Ponzio almost fucking passed out in that costume? Like when he took the mask off, it looked like he'd been in a swimming pool.
We used to always shoot the show during the summer and usually get to the Philly part of the shoot by the end of the summer. So we're like August in Philly.
Oh, that Green Man thing. Because you're wearing clothes underneath that too, right?
The Green Man thing's not that bad.
Oh,
no.
Really? You weren't? Oh.
Boxers. I see the boxer line.
Yeah, I'm wearing like boxers or underwear or something, but no.
Definitely had a cup on, right? So that people don't see your dong.
Yeah, like 6 cups on. So my dong looks huge.
He's 6 cupping it.
Yeah. No, probably something like that. I don't recall. But no, not like a t-shirt and pants under there or anything like that. Then you'd be
pretty warm.
I miss shooting in Philly.
I do too.
Yeah.
The rolling thunderstorms that would always like come through at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp.
Yeah, guys, it's time to give online therapy a try, right? You got to get on your way to being your best self. Meg, tell people why they should try BetterHelp.
Well, have you guys ever calculated how much time in a week you spend caring for other people versus taking care of yourself?
Oof.
It's like all I do.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's probably a lot.
BetterHelp is about making more time for yourself. It's custom built around your schedule. It matches licensed professionals to whatever it is that you're going through. And it's entirely online, which saves you a trip to an office with the meter parking that's never available. So you have to park down the street. But just kidding, because it's a permit street. So you just like circle and circle and circle and circle and circle and circle again until you finally give up and risk getting towed from the grocery store lot that's, across the street because now you're late and you're just already sweaty and you're paid for the session. And anyway, I found BetterHelp super helpful and personalized when I used it. Yeah.
How much time did you spend last week circling for parking?
Gosh, that was more information than anyone needed. I tell you what, just find more balance with BetterHelp, right? That's going to do it for you. Visit BetterHelp.com/Sunny today.
That's right. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Sunny.
And you're going to get 10% off your first month.
Did either of you guys play baseball when you were younger? Are you big baseball
fans? Are you asking me if I played baseball?
It's for the podcast audience that might be listening to this episode first.
We've talked a little bit about it.
I played a ton of baseball.
Yeah. You played through high school?
Yeah, I played through high school and then into college and didn't make the team. And it was like, okay.
What was your position? What position did you play?
Second base.
Hey,
yeah,
you and Chase.
Yeah, sure.
Holy shit.
And yet Chase is what? 6'2", 200 pounds?
I don't know.
6'1"?
6'2". He's at least 6 foot.
That's what happened to me. I got to the college team and it was like a first day of like a scrimmage, whatever. And I was like, okay, I was up at bat. I'm like, I'm going to get on base. I was fast. So I'm like, I'm going to drop a little bunt and I'm going to cruise to first and just get on base, right? It's useful. Totally do it. It's great. My next at bat, I'm like, poke a little base hit in the gap. Yeah, like, just like a single. Well, their starting second baseman was like Chase's size, only like thicker. He gets like jammed up on an inside pitch that he like hits a home run. I don't know how he does it, but he like just kind of turns on a pitch that's like 2 inside and just makes enough contact that it goes out of the park. And I was like, oh, I'm done.
I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah, no, I should be an actor.
You probably good with the low balls, right? And then maybe
I was good at hitting. I was pretty good at
You were.
hitting, and I was pretty good at like fielding, like a ground ball or whatever. But anytime there was an infield fly, I was definitely a little bit like, I got no idea where this thing's coming down, man. Like, I might get this one, I might not.
You'd
It's a
lose it
real-
in the air?
It's
you
a real
mean?
toss up. Yeah, every
You
now
ever
and
catch
then I
one in
would
the
drop
face?
one.
You ever catch one in the face? A baseball just straight to the fucking face?
No.
I did.
Oof, that'll turn you off the game.
Yeah,
that'll
that
turn
was
you
that
off.
was.
What happened? Did you break your nose? What?
No, it didn't break my nose. Well, maybe it did, and I didn't know. But I remember it hurt like a motherfucker, and it was a fly ball, and it hit me in the face. And it wasn't even during a real game. It was like playing baseball with like my friends, like in a field somewhere. And yeah, so I was scared of. I just could never. And I wasn't I was a pretty rough kid. I mean, I played football. My favorite thing to do in football was hitting drills. I loved the bigger the guy, the better. So I wasn't afraid of like contact. I wasn't afraid of roughness, but a little tiny hard ball coming at me at 90 miles an hour.
But see,
that was a bit
Honestly,
too much for me.
It wasn't until high school that I stopped being like scared of the ball. But
so it always scared you a little bit until high school.
yeah, when I started wearing a cup and like lifting weights and stuff, I was like, all right, I'm fine. If this thing hits me in the chest or whatever, I'll be all right. If it hits
What if
me in
it
the balls,
hit you in the face?
I have a glove. I'll catch it.
Well, I mean, like
you were
a
just
pitch.
not so certain about that.
A pitch?
I mean, a pitch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But that you were
a
talking
pop
about-
fly.
a pop
Yeah,
fly
it's a line drive. I'm going to catch it. A pop fly is. I'm going to.
By the way,
misjudge it. When I was 16, I was an alternate on our American Legion team. Well, no, I was on the team, but I like basically rode the bench. I was the youngest guy on the team, and I really would only get in the game if we were up by 20. And we were a really, really good team. There was like a lot of talented, very big guys, and we won the Rhode Island State Championship, which was the first time that this team from Newport maybe had ever done it or had done it in a long time. I can't remember. We're called R&R Construction. So. And my coach was Ronald McDonald. That's where we got
that's right,
his
yeah.
name, who was a character. But
Insane.
yeah, it's insane. But anyway, so we go to the state championship, right? And we go to the regional championships. We move up. So we've beat every team in Rhode Island, and now we're going to play the team that's beat every team in Massachusetts, a much bigger state. The guys getting off the bus from the Massachusetts team, I think they were from Quincy, Mass, just outside of Boston, it looks like they're the fucking New England Patriots. These guys are huge and probably roided out. You know what I mean? Like, this is like when like roids are floating around a little bit, and like even if you're a high school kid, you could probably get a hold of it. So these guys demolish us. But our shortstop, who was a really good player, I won't say his name, but like famously would never wear a cup. He was like, I don't wear a cup. Well, one of these meatballs from Quincy rips a line drive so hard at our shortstop, and it takes like one bad hop and drills him right in the nuts. And he's down. Like, they got to get an ambulance to like get him off the field. So yeah. And I'm thinking like, this is bad, but am I going in the game?
Hey!
No, I was worried about it. So they, so we lose, that's it. The adventure's over. We're getting bussed home. And he's recovered. He's like, got ice, and he's back from the wherever, and he's going to live. And the poor guy, the jokes that he's enduring on the ride home, like, hey man, that was a ballsy play. Or like, dude, that was nuts. Or took a lot of balls to get in front of that one.
He's like, stop it, guys.
He was not enjoying it. So wear a cup.
Does he have kids?
I don't know. I don't know what's become of him.
Yeah. Or what became of his balls?
What became of his balls?
What became of his balls?
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell Meg his real name, and we can get our research department on it.
Yeah.
Find out what happened to his balls.
Sure. We'll let it go.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of want to know what happened to his balls.
What happened to his balls? Yeah, well, he lost one of them for sure.
Oh man,
Yeah.
So, that's the kind of thing that scared me about that. That's why, I mean, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
totally.
You know what I mean? It just that the ball just kept getting faster and faster the older I got. I mean, and the size of the players. I mean, I knew I was done with football when I went to summer training in 10th grade. I went to summer training, and the kids had I just hadn't really hit that big growth spurt yet. I was maybe still like 5'7", 5'8". And I was getting on the field with basically grown men who were like 300 pounds. And all of a sudden those hitting drills that I used to love, I was like, oh, I'm going to get my brains back.
Size is a factor in sports for sure. But, that's all the more impressive. Like guys like Dustin Pedroia or Jose Altuve. I remember going to the Phillies game and being like, wow, I'm like the same size as Pedroia.
Yeah.
I'm taller than Altuve. And he's like these guys have been like league MVPs.
It's not the only thing that matters.
No.
But the only thing that matters.
Skill is a big part of it too, apparently.
Sure.
Yeah. You also didn't have that.
I had some of it. I had some of it.
But in football.
But not enough.
But in football, if you're 5'7" and 135 pounds.
You be kicker?
Yeah,
you ain't gonna make it.
But that wasn't what I wanted. I was like a wide receiver or a running back. Like I wanted the glamour positions.
You guys were just
kickers pretty good.
more talented at other things than you could have been athletes, maybe, but you pursued a different talent.
Well, it was at that moment that I realized I was like, I can just do theater.
Do you think show business is the same way? Like with pro sports, you can work your ass off. And you should like the guys who make it, it's the combination of the talent plus the hard work for sure. Right. But like, you kind of like either are or are not going to be a professional athlete, right? It's either like, it's in the cards for you or it's not. You think show business is the same thing?
I think so. Yeah. I think to a degree, I think there's the odd person in show business that just kind of falls into it, right? They're like at a Starbucks at the right time and they've got the right look and they just fucking fall into it.
But then you got to be able to win an audience over as well, right? Like you find that person at Starbucks, you put them in the movie.
It's not just, because it's not just about talent. It's not even just about hard work, although it is about those two things also. But it also is about your ability to accept rejection, of which there is a shitload.
It's a huge part of it.
In this business. You have to be able to withstand a lot of rejection. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. Everybody. Even, DiCaprio early in his career was dealing with a lot of rejection, and you push, if you are the type of person to push through that, either because you just don't listen to dissent and you're hard-headed, or you just want it so bad that you're willing to push through it is like, do you want it enough? And I do think that this is one of those businesses where you have to have a thick skin or a really fucking hard head.
You talk about in here in this episode, there's kind of the joke about how Mac is idolizing a player that's actually younger than him, which is like a weird thing that happens at a certain point in your life. But did you guys have any either in sports or in acting, any role models that you looked up to like that in such a major way? Did you ever write any fan letters or anything when you were younger?
Well, first of all, from baseball perspective, I idolized Ricky Henderson, he played on the Oakland A's. He was like the fastest guy in baseball. He has the stolen base record, but he was also an amazing hitter. He, could hit for power. And I don't know why I honed in on Ricky Henderson other than he was just a dynamic, really good player. And I just, I like had baseball cards and posters of Ricky. And I just I remember I would have dreams that we met in the park and we're having a catch or whatever, much like Mac. And then I remember going to a Sox game with my buddies Chris and Carl one time, and we see Ricky Henderson across the street. He's coming out of the stadium. And it just comes out of me. I go, Ricky! And he turns, he looks at me nodding and excited that someone has barked at him in this way. And I'm just like, you're the greatest, man. that was my
Yeah,
You
that
just
was great.
transformed
Ricky
into like
Henderson.
a 6-year-old at that
Yeah,
moment.
I
Just
did.
Like,
In terms of
Cool.
show business, there's lots of people I love and admire.
guys, I think we've done it.
I feel like we've done it. Rob, how are you feeling? Do you feel like you got all your thoughts out and you've expressed? Okay, good.
All right, yeah.
All right, so Rob's
Okay.
feeling good about
Yeah,
it.
good,
And, you know, this is one of the beautiful things. When you get to know somebody so well, they don't even need to be here. And you can hear their voice in your head and you know exactly how they would respond to things.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So, Rob, thanks for being here today with us.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you couldn't physically be here, your presence is felt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the spirit of you is always with us.
Oh, I think he said "fuck you."
It definitely said fuck you. He definitely told me to fuck off.
That's it. That's the show.